person that's not here is Claire.
Can you see everyone on your end? Maybe my internet's just being crappy because I can't see anyone except for you.
I can't see anyone.
Everyone else is is on, what's it called? They don't have their video on. Oh. Hello.
Good morning.
I can't see Chelsea though.
I'm in bed.
Okay.
Yes, you have beer. I love it. What kind of beer do you have?
I have
Can we just comment on the bed sheets are on brand? Fucking hands there.
Flex on them so harder.
Go flex on them.
I bought
them to show you the beer.
Like, can you buy something that's not your brand colors? I was like, no, I cannot. I absolutely can't.
Me neither.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in bed, guys. I've had an emotional roller coaster for 4 days. I've been crying every day, and I have my period, so everything's really dramatic. So I'm in bed.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right, so this is the first IPA that's like ever made, and it like made it like super popular now. Like IPAs are like super popular.
It's called the Heady Topper.
Yeah, and it's like it was rated like #1 beer in the world for like a while.
You had it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And then this is like the second rated one, and it's super good too.
This is a different brewery.
It's called Nelson's. Yeah, but they're like
we're actually going to them tomorrow. Right?
Tomorrow, yeah. It's like for like beer nerds, it's like flexible. It's like flexi beer.
I love it. Yeah, I have aunts and uncles in the East Coast, and so whenever my cousin goes out there, she picks up a bunch of Heady Topper and brings it back. When I was still in the Midwest.
So awesome. Yeah, Nick was a little bit too pumped. If you go on my Facebook, you can see some pictures that we took there. You know those like cutouts that you can put your face in? Yeah. We have some funny pictures of this.
I'm going to have to check it out.
Yes, please do. It's really funny. Beautiful. So honestly, I think everyone's here. And like I said, I think we're just missing Claire. But honestly, I'm sure she is still getting herself together after her honeymoon, which is so freaking cool. I know. Well, she was in like Mexico or something for like a whole week. And then she said that she cut her trip early because some like amazing client that she wanted to work with like showed up on her friend's feed or something, and they were taking applications. And she was like, oh, I would love to do this. And then she ended up getting the job. So she flew back early. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Wow.
It's gnarly.
Yeah. I know. She's such a badass. Cool. So did any of you guys happen to do the assignment for this week?
I saved it in my Google Drive.
Where all the freebies go to die.
Some of them don't die there, but many do.
That's okay. I just want to mention it.
Like for me, I can only do them Thursday or Friday. I can't do them Monday to Wednesday. Like those are my busy work days. So if I were to get them on the Thursday or Friday the week before, then I would have time. But I've never done an assignment because I just don't have time. Usually.
Okay, that's a good idea. Well, yeah, we can consider like putting them maybe like the week before or even at like the beginning of the month if we've had them created. Okay, cool.
Usually I do them after.
Like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly think that would be fine too. I just referenced it a couple times, but it's like I said, the assignments they're not like, what's the word I want to use? They're not mandatory. So, okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. Yeah, no, they're going to be graded. And if you didn't do them, then you fail.
Fuck.
Okay. So I want to start this training off with a little story. I guess this was probably like, it had to have been like 2017 or very early 2018. And basically I had like a family friend that asked that typical question, the like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, what do you want to be doing? And I answered the way that I feel like a lot of us do, where I pretty much just like talked about my job and talked about what I wanted to accomplish, because that was like my whole entire world in 2017 and 2018. So I was talking about climbing the corporate ladder, I wanted to be writing every day. I wanted to make enough money to support my family, which 3 years later I am, but that's beside the point. And I was kind of like doing this training and looking back on that like story, and I realized that the only thing I talked about was work. Like literally, someone was like, "What do you want to do with the next few years of your life?" And I was like, "Oh, you mean work myself to death and never think about anything else?" And so it kind of freaked me out for a second because I was like, "Crap." But I think that this happens to a lot of us, not because we're like bad or we don't like anything outside of work. I think it just happens to us because the society that we live in, especially in America, is very capitalist. And this whole idea behind capitalism is if you're not working or being productive or basically like making money, then you're not worth anything to society. And I definitely felt that. Probably why I went to grad school, because I was like, okay, I don't really feel like I have anything to contribute with my undergrad. I don't feel ready to go out into the workforce because I didn't feel prepared to like make a lot of money. And so I felt like, okay, I can't go out into the world if I'm not going to make a lot of money because I'm successful and everyone's whatever. There's the whole rabbit hole. So this training, I don't even know if you want to call it a training. This talk, this chat, is basically just a big, huge reminder that it is absolutely not a waste of your time to prioritize things outside of your business. And I can say that with certainty as someone that was literally a workaholic, like legitimately a workaholic. Like I would work 16-hour days. Nick would go to work at 6 a.m. I would get up at, it was like 6:30. I would get up at 7 and I wouldn't stop working until like 10 p.m. And it was really like unmanageable. And so I kind of just want to remind you that something that helped me a lot through that time was reminding myself that I am a human being, not a machine. And I'm just going to repeat that because I think it gets said a lot, but it's so important. Like, you are a human being, not a machine. You're meant to like take breaks and experience like a lack of creativity and like not always be on. And I think that's totally okay. And I think there's also this element of like, if you're prioritizing work a lot, it probably means that you either don't know what you want out of life or you're afraid to kind of go after it. So you're kind of sacrificing with the work aspect. And I think that's totally normal if you've never thought to think about life outside of work. Like I was, my dad was a workaholic. So all I like was raised by was like, just work really hard and, you know, make the money that you need to make and you'll have a good life. And now I'm doing the exact opposite. So it's been quite interesting. But yeah, so this whole again training chat is all about lifestyle goals. And I think we've talked about this before. I probably talked about it in my newsletter and on Instagram and stuff. And I think even with you guys. But my definition of a lifestyle goal is literally the goal that you have for yourself outside of your business. So like how you want to show up in the world and what you want your day-to-day to look like. And I'll be the first to admit that I legitimately didn't used to think that it was worth prioritizing and making goals for like my personal life because I kind of put like that business and success in business as like if I'm successful in business and if I make money, then that will leave me like happy and fulfilled in my personal life. And obviously like that's not true. All of us know that that's not true. And you especially didn't start freelancing or start your business, start an agency so that you could run your life. You started it so that you could do things that you actually care about. So, what happens when you don't actually set these lifestyle goals for yourself and you just kind of let things happen? Honestly, I was trying really hard to like narrow it down because obviously there's like a billion different offshoots of things that could happen. But I think there's maybe 3 or 4 like specific things. And one of them is, like I said, you unintentionally prioritize your work because you're not focused on your life outside of it. So it's one or the other. And this kind of comes into play of like you not setting boundaries with your clients, not setting clear expectations, and you kind of like find yourself not outsourcing when you actually need it. This is something I still struggle with, and I'm coming from this whole like lifestyle goals setting thing as someone that doesn't have it completely all figured out. So just understand that like you can work towards something and not be perfect at it, and it's like still totally okay. So alongside of all this, so when you unintentionally prioritize work, this is where like the burnout happens. You give up when it gets hard, and you like resent your clients basically because you're just working all the time. They're crossing boundaries, things like that, and you just are not happy. And then kind of the opposite end of the spectrum is you kind of either end up on autopilot. So you're just kind of like doing things day to day. This is kind of similar to prioritizing work, but you're just not like, you're not even prioritizing work. You're just kind of living your life, right? It kind of reminds me of these people where you're kind of like, you're in your job and you don't know what you want to do next, and an opportunity comes, and it may not be the perfect opportunity, but it's a opportunity. And so you take it. And then you keep kind of like going in these directions without any sort of like clear path. It's just what opportunity is coming up next. Cool, I'll take it. Let's go. And then at that point, you just get so far off your path. Like, what are you even doing? And the other thing is if you don't actually know what you want, then you'll end up going after what others want. And that was actually a big part of why we started the SSI as well, because it's really easy to go on Instagram and go online and be like inundated with what other people are doing and what other people's version of success is. So it's so important to kind of have this like core idea of what you want out of your life. And like I said, what you want your day-to-day to look like, so you don't keep getting thrown off by all these like shiny objects or things that other people are doing. And when you do actually go after what other people want, this is when you feel things like really sad, unfulfilled, like you go through the motions of the day. You might experience imposter syndrome and like comparing yourself to others and thinking that you'll never measure up, which I think is a big one. But that's just because you're following other people's. It's almost like if you have like two people and one person actually wants to do the job and is super into it and the other person doesn't, it's just like the person that wants to do it is obviously going to do a better job. They're going to get farther. So if you kind of find yourself like stuck or not moving in the place that you want to be, this is a good opportunity to step back and make sure that the place you're trying to go is where you actually want to be going. So how do you actually figure out what your lifestyle goals are? This is where the joy list comes in, the assignment. Basically, a huge part of figuring out what you want to do on a day-to-day basis is figuring out what your values are. And let me pull up. I'm gonna pull up a little list. Do you guys have a list of core values anywhere, like outside of your business?
Can you repeat that? I missed it.
You're fine. Do you have a list anywhere of your personal values, like outside of your business values?
Yes, definitely me. But that's because I studied philosophy and had to do these things all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even call it like my daily habits. I'm like, if I do these 5 things every day, I'm gonna have a good day, kind of thing.
Claire's here.
Hi.
How was your wedding? Congrats. I've been creeping you on every social media platform there is.
Oh my God, I'm
You
like
look
the
so
best.
beautiful.
All happy vibes. Seriously, it's been so good.
What a
So
great
happy.
training to have a full house for.
Yeah.
So I should probably get a tea and turn my
And I've
camera
been back like 5 days, so I'm like, please suck me back into my business. I forget.
That's awesome.
Erin, I did something similar to this actually. I don't know if it was necessarily like writing down my core values, but with the new moon and Leo rising and everything that happened, I just like plunked myself down in my office with like some music and an incense and like got all vibey and shit, and then just wrote out some stuff on this like harder copy paper with like gold pens and stuff. And I think it's kind of in a sense of like core values, but also just things that I want to highlight and things that I want to work towards, whether it be like in business, but also just personal aspects.
Yeah.
Just like in life
I think
goals and like being a human.
Yeah. I think it's actually really interesting that you guys are saying that, because I think the way that you do it and the way that Claire does it are both totally fine. the whole idea behind this, like writing down your values is just to make sure that you're connected back to like where you actually want to be going. But if you're writing down every day things that fill you up, like Claire's doing, or where you actually want to be going, like you do, Chelsea, then it's very similar to the values, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
realized
I think that's great.
I paint a new one on my wall every like few weeks, and now I have another spot. I have another. I know it's backwards, but like now I have two at one time.
What does it say? It says be happy, and then what's the other one?
Someone says slow and steady wins the race. It's usually dependent on like some trigger, right, will happen, and then it's like a reminder to myself, like something to value. But half the time I get them from our trainings. Somebody will say something and I'm like, I need to remember that. And then after our trainings, I go paint it on my wall.
Not me crying. Okay, that's fine. I'm just
Putting it on your body next.
I only have my values so clearly listed because Erin literally in my newsletter was like, these are my regular values. These are my brand values. And I was like, oh shit, they are different.
Yes. I forgot we did that. That's so right.
I was like, I know I
Yeah.
have this.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, that's awesome that everyone kind of is already doing like literally exactly that, because yeah, this main idea of how do you figure out what they are is literally coming from those values or the things that you want to be doing. Cool. Great. Take that off the list, guys. So the next kind of thing that we should talk about is how do you actually, so you've set kind of what you want to be doing on a daily basis, where you want to be going, how do you actually prioritize getting this stuff done?
Why does Discord hate her so much?
I have no
Every
idea.
time
I do.
TikTok.
Every time.
I have no clue. It doesn't like me. Okay. Even during training, really, I don't understand. Okay. So basically, I was saying I want to start with the practical, and then we'll move into like the mindset aspect, because I wanted to give you guys like actionable, things. So if we're looking at like two sides of the coin here, so we're looking at lifestyle and business. The practical aspect of prioritizing these lifestyle goals is to make sure that you're making time for your lifestyle. So the idea behind that is setting boundaries with your clients. If you're working, I don't even know, like 8 to 8, like I was doing before, that's not giving you any time to pursue the things that you actually want to do. This could be something like office hours if you have those set, or only being available to be reached on like a certain platform. I know it can get very confusing. I have a couple clients that do stuff on like email, and then we talk on Instagram. We'll do Voxer, which is fine. But if you can't handle, like if you have a lot of clients that are all on different platforms, it can get incredibly stressful. The other thing, clearly communicate expectations. So this is where that like solid scope of work comes in. Just making sure that you're not giving away all of your time doing extra edits that you're getting paid for, things like that. And then outsourcing when you need to. Funny that I'm talking about this, considering the only things I truly outsource are my branding and my accounting, but I'm working on it. But basically, like clearing time in your day to like be able to focus on things that are not part of your business. And maybe that involves like setting up systems or processes, but it could even involve hiring someone to do that for you. So once you've done that aspect, you've kind of gotten that business aspect taken care of. Let's move on to the mindset part. And I feel like this is another thing I talk about all the time, but like understanding your why and like why you want something or why you don't want something. It's so much easier when you have that in your brain to actually make your actions shift. And I really wish I had this in my notes or something, but it's funny. I was in grad school. I was sitting in my persuasion class, and I remember like where I was sitting, looking over at the board, and he was drawing this like, Christy, you may know, it's like this attitudes, beliefs, actions, values, like almost like a Venn diagram, but it like goes down. Christy, do you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking. Beliefs, thoughts, feelings, actions, results.
Yeah, it's something similar to that. Okay. So the whole idea behind that is like you start with the core center and then you kind of expand out. And so I'm gonna get this totally wrong, but it's basically like values are at the center and then you go to like attitude. I couldn't find it. I was so upset. But it's like values at the center and then it's like attitudes, beliefs, something, behavior, right? And so the idea is when you're really strong in the middle part, it'll be a lot easier to create behaviors and habits that reflect that. I hope that makes sense. So the idea is if your values are super strong, you're very strong in your beliefs about why you want something, it's going to be a lot easier to align your actions with that belief. So I have a model for you guys because I'm literally a grad school student still. And I found this really awesome model for change. So the whole idea is that you came to this training wanting to prioritize lifestyle goals more. So you are looking to change to have a better work-life balance. And the model is the 3-step awareness, acceptance, action. So I want to start with an example to explain, and then we can set a lifestyle goal together. I thought that would be kind of fun. So the example that I want to use for this model, this 3-step model of awareness, acceptance, and action is the goal. So my goal is I want to have mornings to myself before I start on work. I picked this one because I feel like it's a pretty common example. All of us, that's probably something that a lot of us want, is to have time before we start on client work to enjoy the morning. Okay. So using the 3-step model, the awareness step, you kind of bring in that why aspect. So why do I want to have free time in the morning? And my answers are going to be different than yours. I'll read my examples out. I wrote down like I'm a writer, so I really want my creativity to be high. I don't do my best work at 6 a.m. Giving myself time to relax. Okay. In the morning sets my day up for success. Just things like that. So I'm very clear on why I want to wake up. The acceptance aspect is understanding that it's not always going to happen, even though I want this for myself. Like it's understanding where you are right now, which is I don't take the time that I need every single morning. But this is where this acceptance comes in. I'm a human being. Remember, we're not machines. And it's like progress over perfection. Like, am I waking up every single day trying to focus on myself before I get started on work? And the answer is yes. And then we move into the action piece. So this, you start basically the day by like asking yourself questions. It's not like physically like writing down or journaling, although you can, but it's kind of this idea of like, does it feel good to take the morning to myself today? Or do I feel like I have to do it? So you're just kind of like asking these questions to get back to that why of like, if I wake up tomorrow and I'm like, oh, I really need the morning to myself, and maybe I don't. Maybe I need to just jump right in. And I think it's important to understand in each instance, every single day where you're at. And it's going to shift moment to moment. So I think having yourself asking these questions in the action stage is going to help you actually be able to do the thing that you want to do. So do you guys want to try setting one together? Might be kind of fun. Cool. So I want to start with the goal. We all know how to set SMART goals, right? The specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. I'll give you guys a minute to write them down. Nick, do you want to play too?
I need to write down, but I got it.
You got it in your brain. Okay, good.
Sorry, are we writing down a goal or are we writing down what SMART goals are?
Writing down a goal. Thank you for asking. You're like, wait, what's happening here?
Do we do a personal or a business one?
Yeah. Good question.
So this is going to be a lifestyle goal.
Lifestyle.
Wow, this is hilarious. Oh my God. So this is my passion planner, and every once in a while I write stuff in it. I'm trying to get better at doing that. That's a goal. But I already wrote my goal for September, which is take a vacation. It's already there and it's blocked off. So I'm not going to, my goal's been set. I'm just reminding myself of it.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Wait, that's really
I literally set a goal for myself last week, and I think I put this in Discord as well, that I'm taking Mondays off of work. I am doing this 4-day work week because we're coming into summer, and I spent a lot of money on my van, and I'm gonna be in that van for 3 days out of every single freaking week. So I literally went into my calendar, and anything that was on a Monday got moved to a Tuesday. It's like in my calendar, Saturday, Sunday, Monday are blank. And the only thing that's allowed to go in there is going away or going for an adventure. And I'm going to do that all summer long until winter comes back and I'm depressed and I work every day to get through the cold.
It's so
But it's
hard.
spring right now, so we have a while until I get there.
Man, everyone's taking vacations.
I haven't taken one since the pandemic, since I was in Australia. And I used to be somebody who took a week off every single month. I would take a week off. And now I don't.
That's a brilliant idea. I love that. Take a week off every month. I might have to start integrating that. I like that.
I lived in Thailand. It was very cheap. It was not like a difficult goal to achieve. Thailand like forces you to take time off, especially because visa bullshit. So country. But yeah. So I'm like,
So cool.
get a vacation so bad. And I'm getting one.
It's
the
been a
last
little
week
bit
of
since I've had
September.
one, so yeah. Okay. I think everyone kind of looks like they're done, so we can continue. Okay, so everyone has written a goal. It's cool if it's not smart, it's all good. Wanted to remind you of that. But so using the model, step 1 is awareness. So this is the why aspect. So why do you want to take a vacation? Why do you want to take time off? Mine is find time to work out 2 times a week. It's been something that my doctor has been talking about. And in general, I just want to be healthier. I just feel like I'm not at like a great weight and just things like that. I'm really wanting to be just healthier all around, right? So that's my goal. So asking that why question, why do I want to work out? Why do I want to be
Mine is about like moving my body too. And like for me, it's like a mental health thing too. Just like, oh my God, I have like so much like pent up energy. What do I do with it all? That'll help us so much.
Yes.
Or like just like
Absolutely.
overall.
My anxiety is like, please, thank you. Move your body more, Erin.
Big same. This is year 4, I try to move my body 3 times a week. And because I believe we're humans, I let myself make them up. So if one week I'm like, I can't do shit because it's a crazy week, I can just do 4 workouts along the way. And that has kept me honest. And also my brain needs it.
Yeah. That's really smart. It's almost like giving yourself like a cop out, but then it's not giving yourself too much of a cop out, because then you're just like, oh, it's fine. I'll just do it later. You're like, no, I have to do it next week. So I can't skip twice because then I have to do 2 extra next week.
Yeah, I did that one year. Because this is like many years of this in the making. Now I'm like, I can't break after like 3 years. But there was one year where I was like, I got to do this all. And like, it was December and I was like, I have to work out like 6 days a week for like 4 weeks. And I learned my lesson. I never blew off so many days again.
So freaking cool. I love that.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I have a bad
Yes.
habit of setting goals because of like, instead of focusing on like the positive part of that goal, it's more about like avoiding a negative thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So this is where the values come in. If you're tying it to negative, then it's going to be helpful to tie your goal to a positive value that you have. Because like I said, we're going back to that, like, it's like the Russian doll diagram. I don't even know. If you're really solid in that value, then it's going to be a lot easier for your action to change. Meaning, like, if you don't normally take vacations, since you have it for the past year, if that value of like peace and ease, I'm just trying to think of like stuff that vacation, you know, if you have a value of ease, it's going to make a lot more sense for you to take that vacation if you're solid in it, than if you're constantly thinking about those negatives, like, oh, I'm just so burnt out, right? That's not as compelling as like, well, because it's like an actual value I have and I know it's going to make me feel good.
That makes sense. Yeah. Because I know in my head, obviously taking a vacation is a positive thing, but everything I just wrote down was, I'm burnt out. I can't disconnect. Like all these like withouts or not this, which is.
Actually, that's interesting. So let me show you where I wrote down for mine and how I kind of spun it. I don't know if spun it into a positive is the right way to say it, but I'll share with you. So the goal was find time to work out twice a week. I want to be healthier. I want to be able to do yoga and meditate, whatever. I want to be my most healthy self. The second step of acceptance, I wrote down, I don't work out right now because it's hard. It's not a habit. It's new and it's uncomfortable, but it's okay for me to feel like this. Like, it's okay that I'm burnt out. It's that like last part. It's hard. It's like accepting it. It's being like, yeah, like this isn't perfect, but I'm still worthy of taking a vacation. Or like, oh, this didn't work out, but it's still okay for me to do this thing.
Okay. I just did it again.
Michelle, it's so funny you say. I find that I do something very similar. Like if I set a goal, it's like not to move towards something positive, but to move away from something negative. That's where my brain like first goes to. So it's funny that you say that, because in you just saying that, I just sat here and I was like, wait a second. I'm pretty sure I do exactly that like every fucking time.
Yeah, I think this acceptance aspect.
I try not to use negative words. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, I was just saying, like, I think this acceptance is just about like compassion. I think is another way to say it. It's just like understanding where you are right now, and being okay with that.
That's the biggest thing I struggle with, is having compassion for myself. My response to myself is like, no, bitch, just do it. And it's something I'm working on. I know that it's an issue. I'm slowly working on it, but it's literally like my hardest like critique against myself. I'm very well aware of it. It's just very hard to like stop doing it.
Yeah.
It's one of the easier said than done things.
That actually reminds me of in meditation class with Amanda, we would do this thing called breath of fire, which is like you put your arms up and you're sitting down, you put your arms up and it looks about as uncomfortable as it looks. And you literally do this for 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending on how long she wants to do it. And you're breathing, like breathing, like really deep. And the first thing that she says, like within the first couple minutes, is she's like, notice what your tendency is. Is your brain telling you to put your arms down because you're tired? Or is your brain like, no matter if it's tired, like keep your hands up, you bitch. Like it's like literally noticing like what your brain is doing. And I guess the step one of the awareness is like that whole aspect. It's like trying to figure out like what your tendency is. And if you find that your tendency is to like think of the negatives or push yourself, then when you see yourself thinking negatively or pushing yourself, kind of come back and have that compassion and understand that it's okay to do the opposite, because your tendency is to push forward and go versus let go. I don't know if that's helpful, but it just gave me like a.
I love it.
Okay, I think it's time to move on to step 3, which is action. And yeah, this is literally just about taking steps to prioritize what you're trying to change. So for me, this whole workout, right, working out 2 times a week, we're tying it directly back to your values. Again, bringing in that Russian doll Venn diagram scenario where when you're clear on your values, it's going to be a lot easier to take action. So, for example, one of the things I wrote was try workouts that can be done at home. And I did that because one of my values is peace and ease. I don't want to be like rushing off to the gym and like talking to people and like making obstacles for myself. Like there's no point. It's like first I have to get in the car, then I have to drive to the gym, then I have to get out, then I have to actually work out, then I have to drive back. It's just a lot. The other thing is a couple of my values are curiosity, courage, and discovery. And so trying new workouts or classes that I've never tried, something like, I don't even know, like a boxing class or something, I feel like would be way more exciting than just being like, okay, Erin, it's time to go for a run. Because like, what value is that like, one of my values isn't necessarily like to be healthy. I mean, it's a value, but it's not my top value. So it's all about tying those core values of like I said, peace and ease is a huge value for me. Discovery and curiosity and courage is a huge or big values for me. So tying the action to that value is really good. How's it going over there, Nick?
Okay, I love that. And in saying that, if anyone wants to do workouts that are fun, I know this is slightly off topic. I've been going to reformer Pilates. Like, I started out just saying to myself, similar to you, Erin, where it was like, I just wanted to feel healthier. There's a lot of health issues kind of surrounding in my immediate circle. So I had said to myself, I'm going to start going to Pilates classes like, I don't know, maybe twice a week. I just want to be a bit healthier, just kind of like watching my protein levels. And it turns out that I love reformer Pilates. I go like 4 times a week. I look forward to it. Like I have a class at 7:00 tonight and I'm like, I can't wait to go to Pilates. So it's things like that where it's, yeah, where you start, like, I guess it's like with every goal, you like start small. And then before you know it, you're like looking forward to working out and you're like, who the fuck am I? I haven't had a glass of wine in 2 weeks and I look forward to going to work out. I don't know who I am anymore.
So amazing. Reformer Pilates. I actually heard that's like a really good workout. It's like one of those, it kind of reminds me of like when people say like yoga doesn't work you out because you're not like blasting yourself with like cardio. But if you've ever done anything, it's like resistance, right? It's like
and you're on this like thing. So, hi, Erin.
Peace out.
It disappoints her so much. I don't understand.
Oh my god! I feel like I need to talk to Discord. Hello, does anyone hate me? Like,
oh my god, so. But yeah, it's something different. I think just in that aspect too, like those things kind of similar to what you're saying in this training, that like the whole concept of you need to work a corporate job and be doing 10 hours of work a day to be successful. It's the same thing when it comes to stuff like working out. Like you don't need to go in a gym for 3 hours a day and be dead and sore and can't walk afterwards. Like it's the whole, I think it's just a whole mindset shift around it. And like seeing what's best for you, which in the day and age of like social media, I can't even go on social media right now because I just, in the past like 2 days, I can't handle it because there's just certain, I don't know, just everything that I'm following, it's just like going against what I'm trying to do, which is why I literally messaged Erin this morning and I was like, I need this training so bad today. I'm so happy you're doing this. Like, it's just, I don't know, the conscious shifts in it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally understand that. Look at that beautiful bun.
There's no winning right now.
I definitely agree with that. That's why
I put up a messy bun.
I was dark at the beginning of this lesson because my goal was also to be working out, being more healthy, and I knew that if I did not go to the gym today or do some type of workout today, I don't have any stuff going on in the future. I was like, if I don't go today, I'm not accomplishing my goals for the week. And so I was like, Erin, I'm not going to be talking, but I'm going to be because I have to go to cycle class or something. So that was my thing. So sorry, my sweaty face.
Girl,
No, not at all.
you're fine.
I am
It's
literally
also my favorite thing
covered
that you
in
bring us
engine
everywhere.
grease right now, so you are fine.
What did
Wait,
you
you're
say?
covered in what, Michelle?
Engine grease.
Oh my gosh, always working.
I've
on
been working
Grandpa.
on that today.
Oh, Grandpa. Michelle, side note, is your van broken right now? Because I found a few more broken things and we just go back and forth. So it's my turn now.
Yeah, it's not broken, but it's not a good idea to drive it.
I need to pull out some stickers this weekend and tutorials. Make me pee.
So, does anyone want to share?
I can share.
You want to share? Do you want to come over here so or well, people can hear you? Never mind.
Oh, God. Yeah. So, ironically, my lifestyle goal also to get in better things. I've been traveling. I've been skateboarding and more. So,
Oh wait, you're breaking up.
hear me. Okay. So, I wanted to be able to skateboard longer. Like and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think it's just been difficult for me to work out since like I used to do sports. So when I would like work out for the intention of like a game event, I feel motivated like the gym, but to get myself for. Whereas like after that, it's going to just do more stuff like cool and like not necessarily sports wise, like health sometimes, right? So I feel like I'm trying to like set a goal to think like this, like I'm gonna do that in like this amount of time. So it's like I'm just like setting like event that's happening that way. Like I'm training.
That's really
Wait, all
smart.
that.
I like that. The way that you worded that, like set it up as if you're training for some event, like give yourself like a date. I like that.
Yeah. I want to keep going back and forth here.
No, you're fine.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always so interesting. So do you have a value that you're tying your
I would say not just health, but it's also getting back into like the competitive mindset. You can feel like without working to be in that kind of like competitive go mindset. It's like a different type of like mindset. That's the value I'm trying to get into is getting back into the like when I was super healthy in terms of like with like sports and stuff, it like transfers to the rest of your life. You're like doing that kind of stuff.
That's interesting. I wonder if there's like because you said health is big for you, but I wonder if there's like another value. I'll just like pull up the values just so we can kind of just because I think I wonder if nostalgia is a value.
I don't even know if it's nostalgia, but it's more like maintaining. Because I feel I don't know, it's weird. Like I'm 20s, but like later 20s, I'm feeling like age definitely like, oh, okay, I need to like protect what I can do. So I can't like I'm not 6. If I get hurt, it's not like in like a couple days. I just heal up now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Cool.
Okay, Nick, it's funny you bring up age because I'm feeling that. Like I may be like I'm the youngest of my friend group. They're all in their 30s. And I'm the youngest one. I just turned 28 like 2.5 weeks ago. And I don't know what it is, but I literally like had my birthday, obviously had a few drinks. But since then, I was just like, I don't want to drink alcohol. I just want to like move my body. Like there's this whole health aspect that I think is just like stepping in. Just like one of my housemates' dads is really, really sick right now. So he's actually flown to South Australia. He's not doing well. And just, I don't know what it is, but I think as you get older, obviously your family gets older and those you love get older. And I've just kind of clued in. I don't know what it is. I turned 28 and I was like, I just want to feel healthier. Like, I don't want to eat chips. I don't want to drink wine. Like, I just want to go for walks and like move my body. And I think it's probably like a biological clock. Like we're not teenagers.
Oh, no.
Think, oh my God, we live forever. Like there's so much time. And then you blink and you're almost 30 and you're like, there's not that much time. Where the fuck did 30 years go? And I think that really starts playing in. I think that's also a huge aspect behind me wanting to drop down and do a 4-day week. Because it's like, I've just been stressed and it's not healthy. Like stress can kill you. So it's funny that got brought up, like the whole age aspect as well, because I think it's awareness that comes with age. Like obviously we all grow, but the awareness around things when you start like getting older, it's hit me. So it's funny that
all the time.
I'm not as risky.
Oh, I just think
what?
about Nick says he's not as risky.
Yeah,
He's definitely not as risky.
yeah.
That's so funny. I feel like I'm exactly the opposite. I feel like I have gotten more terrifying. Like, I don't know. My family sometimes is just like, what's going on over there, Erin? And I'm like, I don't know. It's fine. Like, everything's fine. And I'm just like, I'm going to go do this now. And they're like, oh, okay. I don't know. I see it as like, I'm getting older. So I feel like more like, what's the word? Like, I feel more like in my power to like do stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I view age differently, but also like when it comes to like my physical body, I definitely have moments where I'm like, well, shit, if I feel like this at 27, imagine what 60 is going to be like. It's terrifying.
True.
Yeah.
I had that feeling when I turned 27. I'm in my 30s now, so this is gone. But I like felt my like youth just like fleeting, and I was like, "Come back to me!" And I got like really into working out because I was like, I feel like I'm just gonna fall apart. And then I was like, well, this like actually just is good for my mental health. And then that was sort of what has like kept me going. Now I'm like, I don't know, my body's probably gonna fall apart, but like at least my anxiety is like not gonna make me want to pass out.
Yeah.
And keep those wrinkles subside.
Oh gosh. Seriously.
Yeah.
Another good one for age. I think I want to change my goal from like fitness to even like friendships. Like I've literally never said the word. I'm starting to realize like, would you like to hang out with me on Saturday? Like those words have never come out of my mouth to like another person that I thought was cool that I would like to spend time with. Like I want to put myself out of my comfort zone and do that. Especially being married too. Like he is a great husband, but like he does not fulfill all those friendship parts of me and things that I need to talk about, like my girlfriends and stuff. That is so important.
It's honestly, how hard is it to make friends when you're an adult? It's so difficult. Like having just moved to the other, like back to Western Australia, I haven't lived here for a few years. Like I've got my 4 friends here, but we made a joke the other day, like my housemate Kane and I, he's like, I feel like we don't have very many friends. I was like, well, we don't. We have like 4. Like we're all really close. We've only got 4 friends. Like,
thank God for them.
As an adult. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, maybe I can ask someone in my Pilates class to be our friend. Like, I don't really know what to do.
I'm going to use Nick's thing about like going to an event. So like instead of being like, what do we do when we hang out? It's like, I'm going to do this on Saturday. Would you like to go to that with me? So I wrote that down. That's going to be cool.
That's a good one. I like that.
It's awesome. Yeah, going to do something instead of going to like a lunch or where you're kind of like sitting across from it can be like really intimidating, especially if you don't know.
Which is boring. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if the other person you guys are like not really vibing, and then you're like, oh, okay, here we are, just sitting across from each other. This is great. Love that.
Oh my
Does anyone else
God.
want to share?
I can share.
feel like my
Mine
internet's really
is to take half days on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Ooh,
It's okay.
because
I would
So
love
that's
to do a
super
4-day
exciting.
work week, but I realize, I don't know, there's something about my particular brand of anxiety that taking a whole day off does not feel good to me. So I have settled for 2 half days that feels delightful. And I'm really good about taking Friday half days. And I'm really working hard to get consistent Wednesdays in there. I've got 2 in a row so far.
That's good.
It's freaking awesome.
Done
I
elementary
love.
school.
Go ahead, Claire. What did you say?
I remember doing that in elementary school. Like they did it for a reason. It worked for them.
Wait, you had half days in elementary school?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they do it. I think they did like kindergarten or something.
we
don't
did
they?
in middle school.
I went to school all day.
Kindergarten for us was half day. Yeah.
Reminds
Yeah.
me of something.
I went to the wrong school.
Yeah, Chelsea, what were you doing?
I grew up in the ghetto, so like the parents all had to work. So we all had to go to school, or we were just like floating around fields, like doing dumb shit. So
Oh no. So like full school day for you guys.
yeah,
No breaks.
yeah,
Oh,
probably
geez.
good though.
Well, I do want to point out something. Well, I do want to point out something that you said, Chrissy, because I thought it was really, really cool and something that I touched on earlier. But the fact that you like you're noticing that it doesn't feel good to take that full day, but understanding you do like the half day, so like find what works for you kind of in that like whole sphere. I think it really cool. I think a lot of people would have just been can't take a full day on Fridays, but you're literally like, okay, well, I'm gonna just do half days and it'll be like a full day. It's very cool.
Yeah, I have a lot of that to work as because she was like, you keep saying you want to work 4 days a week, like just take a day off. And then like the whole time I was like bossering her. I was like, this is bullshit. I'm like super unhappy. She's like, cool, that doesn't work. You don't have to do it, but you tried it and now you know.
Really funny. You're like boxing her. You're like, "Get me out of this house."
It was also like snowing here. It was like March and it was just like disgusting. So I couldn't even like do anything fun.
Yeah, I find my work habits change so much between summer to winter. I'd rather work and like be creating things than watching Netflix and like feeling my brain melting in my head. And then summer comes and I'm like, I'm gonna need about 6 months off. The sun's out. I've gotta go.
Yeah, this is obviously still my like first full year in this, and I feel I like have found the same thing where I was like, oh no, summertime, I'm good to work way less.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This makes me so happy. I'll open it up if anyone else wants to share one more.
I can say mine. So working the 4-day work week, want to take Mondays off as well. I think for me, the way that I've like structured my calendar, and I know I've spoken about this before, is I have like my strategy and kind of back end days, and then I have like my creative days. And that's how I've always flowed, but I never like scheduled it out that way. I just kind of like woke up in the morning and was like, hey, what do I want to do? So I'm trying to schedule things in a bit more and I'm having a little bit of a midlife business crisis in the past 4 days. Poor Michelle. I got a voice note the other day and I was like, I can't stop crying.
That's fine.
So I think there's like some big shifts going on, and that's why this training is so perfect. Because I think the 4-day work week, like even from an aspect of it's summer, it's like core value is in the mental health aspect. I've been moving my body a lot more, and my body's feeling so much stronger, but my mind isn't. It's like my mind's like, what the fuck? That's something that I'm dealing with, and this is kind of like my response to it, and hoping that if I can structure my week out where I'm going into it just a little bit more clear-minded, like, okay, on Thursdays is going to be like my social media management days, and there's just a little bit more structure, but only in the 4 days, because I hate structure. There's too much of it. I'm just like, eh. But if I can only structure 4 days out of the week and then give myself 3 days to just whatever, like even if on a Monday I want to work half a day, but I have like a commitment, I'm hoping that helps. We'll see in the next few weeks.
I have terrible internet.
I missed a little bit. If you want to take one. So, I would like to, like literally everybody's here, which is freaking awesome. Actually, Claire, would you like to share?
My goal is to work on like my friendships and stuff, and like find people I can talk to in like real life about life and stuff. And so I said my action step is going to be like finding those events and decide like one of my core values, like what do I want to go do, and then just like, do you want to come do that with me? Not just like, oh, you're going there, I'll go with you, like super wishy-washy. Like I'm now not even having fun. Why am I here at this party where everyone's drunk? Like so stupid. So finding my core values so I know what I want to do in my free time, and then inviting someone to go do it with me, I think would be really, really cool.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry. I literally heard you say that, and then as soon as you started talking, I was like, oh, Claire definitely went.
Okay. Feel like
okay.
I can be introverted, but that's okay.
What?
Be kind of myself.
Yeah.
Just say it out loud.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I have an action step.
Okay. So, oh, go ahead.
I'm booking a flight to England tonight. I'm going on vacation. Like
okay, well, that actually is
this is actually being planned.
This is okay, good. No, because so this whole model that I was talking about, this awareness, acceptance, action. I honestly think that there should be a fourth step, which is accountability. I think Christy's really gonna like this one. So I want to match you guys with an accountability buddy, and that actually works out kind of perfect because there's 4 people here, and then Chelsea and I. So Chelsea, I'm just gonna go ahead and say you and I are gonna be accountability buddies. I'll go ahead and I'm just looking at the screen. I'll put Claire and Christy together, and Michelle and Darcy. And So obviously you guys can kind of take this accountability buddy thing and run with it. But what I imagine it to be is just checking up on each other once a week, Monday, Friday, Thursdays, whatever day works best for you guys, for the next month. And bonus points if you decide that you want to post on the accountability thread about what you guys are doing. But just checking in on each other and seeing how you guys are doing with the goals. I think it's really easy to get off track. And although if you're booking a plane ticket, I don't think there's any way to get off track from that. Like you're going on vacation, but Darcy will be there to get you back on track if something happens. And then same with you, Claire. You'll have Christy to cheer you on, and Claire will be cheering Christy on. And then Chelsea, you're gonna help me and make sure that I'm working out twice a week, and I'll make sure that you're taking Mondays off.
Yes, girl, I'm so keen for this.
Beautiful. And I'll take care of Nick. I'll keep him on track.
Can we just interject and say we
Oh man,
boy joining us next month? So Nick might have a friend. Look at everyone's faces. I know, right? He's a photographer who's getting into website design. So he's starting off on Squarespace and learning how to code right now. Which will totally vibe with Michelle, who's also learning how to code. But yeah, he's super interested. He's been following me on Instagram for a bit, so he might be joining us next month. And then Nick will have a friend. We'll have a boy.
I feel like a boy today.
Finally,
so
Nick.
I'm into this. I look like a
we were just talking about how there's potentially going to be a male joining us.
That's all the third one.
Yeah, we're excited. Oh, yeah, actually, something else we should probably update you guys on is that you won't be paying with a Wave invoice anymore. It'll come through as a Stripe thing. It's all automated, so it's so much better. You won't have to worry about chasing payments or remembering if you paid, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be really nice. We're super pumped.
It's my happy dance.
And it has been quite the journey to try to sync up this workflow across, what is it, 3 countries?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michelle's helping from Canada. I'm doing it from US, and then
Yes, the 28th is they're coming out the 28th, the Stripe email.
yeah. So just look out for that. We're excited. We've been working on it for the past month, and I know I mentioned to Michaela because we've been, like I said, sometimes I do have to chase invoices. I get it. Like we're all doing business and stuff, but it's just been funny because Michaela was like, finally, you guys are automating it. I'm like, I know, it's been so long. It's like, damn it, just automate this shit.
We just need things to be
anyways.
some picky.
Yeah, that's it for me today. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for showing up, showing out. I don't think it's been a while since we've had everyone here, so it's super nice to see you guys. Seriously.
Can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
Claire, I see your hand going like this, and I see a big glittery, beautiful thing on it. Can you just show the class? You have a show and tell moment.
Oh, so much. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. So
Oh,
pretty. I can't wait to wear it just like by engagement ring too. I'm like not traditional at all, and I'll take it off and I'll wear like one on this hand and one on this hand because why not? So much fun. And like I feel like I need to start wearing like a little stuff on my earrings on that like walking around like diamonds and like sweatpants, like more clothes. Who am I? But I can't take it off because then I'll lose it. I'm never taking it off my body. It's so weird. Oh my gosh. I wanted to get like a really thin little band, and all the jewelers kept being like, that's too thin, that's too thin. But I'm so happy with the one I got. I talked him into it. I was like, please, just let me get a small one. Oh man, so happy. Thanks for asking. It's so funny.
So good.
I didn't wear it in Mexico either, so I just put it on like a couple days ago. So exciting.
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
see, honest, I would be scared too. I'm sure like the first few weeks you're just like, is it on my finger? Is it on my finger? Is it on my finger? And then after a few months, it's just like a part of you.
Yeah.
For sure.
The guy's ring is the weirdest part. For them to get used to it, it's pretty cool. So different.
I can't wait to have one.
Like after I just can't
Yes.
remember what it was.
I actually want to talk about crazy retainer. Yeah. I wanted to price a retainer because I actually, so Christy, your old boss finally got back to me. I emailed her in January, legitimately in January, and she responded to the email thread. I followed up in February and was just like, hey, like if you want to get this moving, and she followed up. And one of the things I said in the second email was, can you believe it's February already? And her first message to me was, can you believe it's August already? She was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, so funny. But she wants to work together for the end of the year, which is super exciting. But she doesn't want to charge per project because there's like emails that go out every month, like a certain number of emails that go out every month, and then product descriptions. But there's 2 launches a year. So if I do like my typical monthly rate, then halfway through the project, we're going to have to create a new contract depending on how many products are released. So the idea is, how do I price something like this? I asked a fellow copywriter about my rates for sales emails, which I wasn't quite sure about, and she said that those were solid at like $250 an email, which is good. But I'm wondering, like, yeah, I've never done retainer before. I want to make sure that I get paid for like the max amount of deliverables, but I also want to make sure that it's like within a good budget for her. Yeah, just trying to figure it out.
I would say whatever you think it is, charge a little bit more because sometimes she could be a ball buster. So she might be like, can we lower it a little bit? I know her. So I would say just like put a little bump on top. I always call it the nuts fee just because I know her workflow. She might try to like squeeze in some extra revisions or something. So like I would err on the side of a little pricier than what you'd think.
Super helpful. Very helpful. Yeah, she was. Oh, go ahead, Michelle.
I just wasn't sure if you're trying to figure out like a monthly rate that would just cover every month, or if you're willing to just allow for like a base amount and then just automatically have like, okay, those launch months are just automatically bumped up. Like you don't have to have multiple contracts in order to do that. You can have an addendum at the time. Yeah. Or you can build it into your contract so that when those things come up, and as long as your contract has a phrase along the lines of like email is considered legal binding or whatever, and then whatever the clause says, but you can email about it. You don't have to like continuously have new contracts.
Okay, that's actually a good idea.
So what I'm doing right now, oh, sorry.
No, sorry, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. I have like, so when my clients are finished with like their big package, they move into a maintenance retainer, I call it. So I charge them X amount of dollars per month, and that's just ongoing until a project comes up. And then I have the project fees built into my contract so that I can just add it on. Like we don't have to keep doing new contracts. And then I give a discount for my projects for those clients because I'm not doing like the onboarding and extra accounting and extra branding. So they see a 20% discount because they're paying me every month.
So that gives me like a good place to work from, because I think I could create that like initial, I think what I was planning on doing, because she was mentioning like the emails, you might know this, Christy, apparently she sends like emails out every week and it's to 3 different audiences, and sometimes the emails line up and sometimes they don't. And so she was kind of going back and forth. And so this was like I was trying to figure out if I should charge her for 3 emails a week, understanding that it might not always be 3. And then I'm like, well, maybe I just charge for 2 and then understand that if it's more,